What are the threats of doing business on public Wi-Fi? If you and your employees regularly use public Wi-Fi, then you really need to understand what are the cybersecurity risks of using open networks. So number one is it's really easy for the hackers to identify different machines. What they can do is if a network is unlocked and there's no security on it, it can easily jump on that network and then try and hack into other devices that are also on that network. They can do all this fully automatically as well. So you just got to be really careful when you're connecting to any kind of open Wi-Fi that you've got additional protection on your devices. The second understanding is password and credential hacking. So if you go onto a network, they're going to straight away try and get into the machine, but then they're going to try and get your passwords so that they can then hack into all of your important private data. So you need to make sure that wherever your passwords are stored, that they are connected and protected. So what that means is if you've got passwords that are just saved in an unsecured document, then if someone was to get hold of that document, they would have the keys to the kingdom because they'd have all of your usernames and your passwords. So you need that additional layer of protection so that if someone was to get through the first layer, they wouldn't be able to get through the second. The third is malware and ransomware risks. Now what will happen is if you've got your machine on, let's say, a dirty network that could be riddled with malware and ransomware, if that is going through all of the devices and encrypting them, your device could also become encrypted and there's nothing you could do about it. Because the worst thing is that maybe the main part that's been encrypted you wouldn't know about. So effectively, your machine could be completely useless. So you need to make sure that you've got really strong protection at the device level so that if there is some kind of encryption attack on all of those machines, your device would be able to lock itself down and secure itself. The fourth is business email attacks. If someone was to gain access to that machine, they could then effectively hijack your business email, not only send out to your entire address book, but they could also mimic being you as a business. So you've got to be really careful when it comes to any of your data or any of your business projects being hijacked. So that means someone else pretends to be you. And number 5 is data breaches and compliance violations. If you're in a certain sector, for example finance or maybe healthcare, you may not be allowed to go on public Wi-Fi. Depending on your compliance and how sensitive your data is, you've got to be really careful, because if you were to fall foul of your compliance, it could have a wider impact on your business as a whole. So you just need to make sure that there will be guidelines and legislation around it. So you just need to make sure that if you are allowed to go on public Wi-Fi, then what security layers do you have to have in place to offset the potential breaches that you could get. So it's always worthwhile just speaking with whoever the body is that you need to be compliant with, just to make sure what are their rules around using public Wi-Fi. So we hope you found this useful. Obviously, using public Wi-Fi, you just have to do it sometimes, depending on if you're on the move and depending on what your business does. But there's good ways and there's bad ways. So for that reason, we have actually created a free IT cybersecurity basic user guide. So if you click on the link, you'll be able to download that for free, and hopefully that will enable you to use public Wi-Fi, but in a much safer way.